There we are. As usual, we're live. If you guys knew what went into actually getting that red button pressed and getting all of us here, as Aaron mentioned, the Brady Bunch here today in the multifamily group and on every other platform, it would make your head explode. So you
First of all,
everything
thank you for that.
imaginable. Yeah, of course. Everything imaginable that could have gone wrong has gone wrong. But we're here. It's going to be a great show. We've got two awesome guests. We've got Fred here. Fred is actually a part of our team, Meliorum Capital. So he's making his debut here in the live session. So we'll interview him in a second and just kind of hear some about some just fun facts and what he's working on and what he's working on with us and stuff like that. And then of course we've got VJ Patel on from the Future Group, and I have been seeing your name everywhere. I'm sure everybody else can attest to that. You're on fire right now, and we want to know why and how, and get to know you as well. So, without further ado, we'll jump right in with Fred. Fred, who are you? What do you do, and how do you know us?
Oh, okay. I wasn't sure. I wasn't sure about the show. I didn't know it's a show. But I'm Fred Manavi. I'm honored to be part of this team. I've been now what a couple months with you guys. We started. I started as a part of the 25 unit at Cornerstone, and now I also became an investor and also uh, did other stuff. I'm doing other stuff as far as a mezzanine loan with you guys at Avery. Uh, Happy to be here. Happy to be part of a group. My background, I'm actually a dentist. In my with my education, I never did much dentistry. I own and operated 40 dental clinics in Southern California. At some point, a few more in the state of Washington. Sold all that. I've been in multifamily, multi syndications, commercial, residential, strip centers, flips, spec home, larger homes, development, all kinds of stuff over the past 20, 30 years. Again, I'm glad to be here as part of this group.
Nice. We're honored to have you in
Hmm.
the group, and we're honored to have you on the team.
Thank you.
So, moving right along, VJ.
Sure.
It took a
First of
lot of
all,
back and forth to get you
yeah.
on, but we're excited.
Good morning, everyone. My name is VJ Patel. I'm based in Dallas, Texas, and my company name is the Future Group. I founded with a vision. I'm a serial entrepreneur. My personal background is in healthcare. I did a lot of healthcare management. I've run community hospitals, nursing homes, assisted livings, you name it, I've done it. So I did that for last 12 years of my initial career. And then my family business is in diamonds. So my father wanted to retire in 2016. That's where I left my, the W-2 job, and I joined my family business. We still have an office here in Dallas that I oversee. It's mostly in diamonds, like we try to, retail out and everything. But so I did that for 2 to 3 years, but then over the period of time, what I like I became very good at is like building up a system which runs by itself. So I did that for my first employer. I did that for after that, for quite some time. And over the period of time, doing it over and over again, I realized that okay, I'm getting good at it. That it was getting shorter and shorter. The first flip that we did, so we used to do like a full cycle healthcare flips. What we do in multifamily. So my employer had a big pocket, so he used to, go out and buy nursing homes, hospitals, and anything that is run down off market cheap. He will buy it. We go in, we fix the numbers, we fix the, whatever issue is, and we make them profitable and we exit. So that was my first experience of value add. That and a lot of like, no matter the industry I have changed, like I've gone through like at least four industries, but I have noticed like a lot of similarities. Especially like if something is not working, either it's a people or process problem. So we try to analyze that, and most of the time it's fixed. I would say 95% of the time it's a people or process problem. So we go in, we try to, realize, like understand the process first, like how it's been running, right? And then we try to see how we can improve. So those are the things I have, my lessons that I've, learned, and I take it along with me wherever I go. And that's what I try to, even implement in the multifamily side. So now, like my other businesses are almost running on autopilot. I have to, I get updates like an hour, but mostly over the phone. You can keep up with it. And that's where I started my real estate journey in 2017. uh, that okay, like what I want to do personally. I was doing my W-2, I was doing my family business, but what do I really want to do personally? And then real estate is something came up is okay, like I want to build a decent size legacy for myself in real estate. And that's where I started my journey as a real estate. I My baby step was LP. Same like my mindset was small. I wasn't like a big guy, so try to be LP, try to buy small properties and things like that. And then growing confidence out of it, and people started knowing in this industry, like especially knowing people is something it has a value. Once people start knowing you, that okay, like your qualities, like professional is different, but once you know somebody personally, then it just like gets you in tune with them, because then they're like they will be become more open to you in terms of a lot of things that they wouldn't professionally, right? And a lot of times it will overlap like personal and professional lives, so like how do you manage that, and how do you handle everything? So those kind of things I learn. I still learn. I'm young. I'm 34-year-old. I'm gonna be 35. But like the guys I do deal with right now is a Galvin Capital, Danny Galvin, if you know. Then
Yeah,
I
we know
do
Danny.
Jaspreet Bajwa, if you know him. So most of the deals I'm doing with these guys. But of course I keep my options open and try to add like I do not want to go outside of my circle if I don't have to. But at the same time, if there is a good deal and if I can be like of value in a deal, then yeah, I want to be part of that. So I guess I did a lot of talking.
So much talking that you froze Toby, which is not easy to do.
He's amazed with your background, VJ. Thank
Interesting.
you.
As we are.
Yes.
Hey, VJ, I'll start off with a question, if you don't mind.
Sure.
Early on, what were some of the first systemic moves, or when you realized it's about people and process? What was some of the early systems that you realized we need to tweak this, and we'll start getting off the ground a little bit easier?
Sure. So like, is it like, should I talk about the healthcare or what?
That's right. You did mention what your 4 or 5 different industries.
Yes.
No, maybe yeah, maybe early on it might have been healthcare when
So
it
like
really
the
opened your
problem with
eyes.
the healthcare is like it's the worstly managed industry, you know. So like particularly in healthcare is a like process problem first of all, because yeah, like you are burdened with a lot of regulations that is unnecessary, that you have to follow, of course, because it's a government, right? And then it becomes like very pessimistic for people to do that, like if like you are told to do something that you don't like and you're doing it, right? So then it just becomes a people problem. So first of all, like it is a process problem in general in healthcare industry, and it's like worstly managed. It's the least efficiently managed industry till today.
Hmm.
And then you
Which
run
one
into
of those?
staffing problem and
I'm sorry. Which one of those industries do you think best prepared you for success in real estate or to be effective
healthcare,
in
healthcare.
healthcare?
Yeah, because it like the numbers. So like even personally today, so what my focus is multifamily, commercial, and senior living. Since I have a healthcare background, I also try to focus on senior livings, because the number and economics works the same. It's just like the compliance and the regulation part you have to add on to the senior livings. Other than that, it's the same thing. Like there's a 700 square feet studio you're renting out to somebody who's living, you know, and there's an upside to it. Those are like easily long-term tenants. There's a higher side of rent that you can charge and things like that. But the downside is the compliance part. If the COVID happens, You really have to go through a lot of compliance, and if COVID spreads in your building, you are underwater.
Yeah, so it looks like somebody just left a comment. I'm surprised to see how many people in healthcare are also in real estate. I'm a pharmacist, contractor, and investor. So yeah, there's a ton of people in healthcare
Yeah,
that are in real
especially like
estate.
there is a lot of burnout right now in healthcare for two reasons. There's no growth, and there's no like job satisfaction. So
Mm.
for those two reasons, like even doctors, it's not like somebody low wage job. Like like healthcare jobs are easily 60 plus, like 60K plus starting, and like somebody like 100K or 200K or 250 will be easy something somebody's making. So it's not about the money, but there's a lot of burnout and a lot of dissatisfaction that that you can help, but the way the system works, you cannot. Like just for like
Hmm,
if I have a
that's a good
patient
point.
and like I know that okay I can help, but if it's beyond my area, even though I have a knowledge, I can't help because that's not my area, and I would just refrain to do that.
Okay. So are you still doing all these professions then, VJ?
Yeah, so I
Healthcare?
do have
We-
outpatient clinics here in Frisco, McKinney that I manage.
Okay.
Uh,
Uh-huh.
but I'm downsizing. I used to do like, before coming into healthcare, I used to do same full-time flip of healthcare. And
Mm-hmm.
I stopped doing it. I only own one business right now. I used to own two home healthcare agencies. I sold it 2 years ago. And now
Mm-hmm.
only have an outpatient with my partner, and he's like my brother. So and managing is not that hard. So we are just keeping it, and we try to expand that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, it's mentioned that it's great that you mentioned healthcare, nursing home, because I once looked at a property in Denton, right? Yeah, in Denton, Texas, and basically there's apartment complex on a property, and the next to it is nursing home, and they package into one. So it's like you
Oh,
get best of both worlds.
nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Nice.
would love to do those kind of deals.
Okay,
If
I'll
somebody
send
is
you the
selling me
deal.
like an assisted
Would
living
you like
next to a
it?
multifamily, I would buy it.
Yes, it's
Yeah,
multifamily. Yeah, multifamily, and then the building
Assisted
next to it
living
is
or
healthcare. So,
nursing home, like not that much, like I wouldn't go get into the nursing home business now. But yeah, assisted living or senior living, like in general, like 55 plus community. I'm sure you guys have seen popping around, especially around Frisco area, Toby. If you know, like Frisco is booming with
yeah,
55 plus senior living, like
yeah. A
luxury.
lot of
Like they
luxury.
have
Yep.
so and like the rents are premium, like they charge from 1,500 plus. So
Wow.
it's the same property basically, like what you offer in multifamily Class A, but the rents are like 1,700, 2,000, or even up to 2,500.
Yeah. So VJ, we like to talk about superpowers. What is your superpower? What would you say your core competency is, or your role is on a team? And how do you get to raising $9.2 million? I see this floating around that you raised that in 3 days. Is that true? I mean, you're literally an overnight legend if that is. So, can
Well,
you kind of
yes.
dive into that and how
So
you what led up
do,
to that?
and I'll just break it down. So first of all, I'm a numbers guy. So like after doing it for so long, I realized that I'm very good at numbers. So whenever I go in any business, I look at the numbers and I fix the numbers. And once you fix the numbers, it most likely will fix the business. You know. So you look at like where the bleeding is, where the overpayment is, where there's need like the raise needs to be done, things like that. Same like like multifamily value add that we do, right? So those are similar to my expertise that I have. I always look at the numbers. If numbers make sense, or if I can fix the numbers, yes, that's the right property for me. So that's my expertise personally without doing anything. If you ask me what I would like to do and what I add value is fixing the numbers. I don't even have to look at the property. I look at the numbers and most likely I will know what's going on.
So
okay.
you're taking. Oh, go ahead, Bien.
Yeah,
No,
raising
since
capital. Yeah, sorry.
mhm, go ahead.
So raising capital was something I discovered. Okay, I didn't know I was good at it, but like since like 1 year, everybody is feeling the heat, and so as I, you know, and that's where I realized that there is a lot of demand for it, and then I started my homework in the background. Okay, how can I add value to this? So, of course, I followed some people, and I did same thing with the multifamily. Like, I know zero about multifamily. Then I started following 17 gurus, like
Wow.
Brad or Rod or Jack and Gino, or like there are, I guess I shortlisted almost 17 people that I started following. I started watching free videos, and what they're doing, how they're doing. There's a lot of information that you can absorb, especially in parts.
Yeah.
But
Mm-hmm.
if you combine the parts, it will be almost 90% of the information is free out there. It's
Yeah.
only
That's
10%
good.
that is reserved, maybe. But yeah, like if you combine it, there's a 10, like, you don't have to sign up for like expensive course. Of course, there is a value to it. And
Yep.
Yeah.
I am personally signed up for a couple of courses. So the best value they all bring in is a networking. They allow you to, be in their ecosystem where you can introduce yourself. People get to know, like, again, like, the five guys we are, like now, me, I know you personally, like by name, right? And then those are the things that allows you to do, like, if you are a newcomer, everybody is going to shy away from you, like the moment you
Mm-hmm.
introduce, oh, I'm trying to learn. Of course, everybody's busy, and nobody got time to teach you for free, right? So it's
That's
the
right.
same thing. So those groups allows you to do that, when especially when you are starting out your journey, that to feed those information, and at least is try to establish yourself, and go from there. Of course, like nothing is going to happen overnight. If like I there's a story personally attached to me, and this is a story my dad told me. Is like, if you want to drink a water, you better start digging, like, today, if you want to drink a water like a 1 year down. And that story always stays with me, like that you have to, there's a lot of background work that needs to be done in order to
That's
be a
good.
burnt, you know and you always start today if you want something to be done in a year. So given that, same applied, like what you are like hearing, like, is not overnight. Of course, it looks overnight, but there is a lot of work done behind it, and process done behind it to do what, I did it. Can I do it consistently? Of course, like, given the market situation, it's going to be hard. And like, I don't fall promise, like, like, since yesterday, I'm being flooded with all the deals that needs
I'm
funding,
sure.
and I know it. But at the same time, I don't want to be, commit something that I cannot promise. Or if you expect me, okay, I'm going to perform it at the same speed. Not necessarily, like, I will try my best, but that doesn't happen every time. But just to give you a perspective of what, like, how that number came from, is the $9.2 million, right? So I have raised, like small numbers, like 100,000, 50,000, and things like that. Then I grew, like, start knowing more and more people with a more and more network, right? And that's where I found these two individuals who has 3.7 million and 5.5 million individually, and that's where combined it came out as 9.2.
Wow. So you landed that with two individuals.
Yes.
So I had this idea in my mind that you were just out like pounding the pavement. You had four cell phones and you were just calling everybody and burning up the airways to raise that. But you were able to accomplish that with just two
But
individuals.
just two people, yeah.
Wow.
But
Wow.
if you have to raise 9.2 from 50,000, yeah, like, that's hard. That's hard.
Yeah, I agree. Well, since you're numbers guys, me too. And my background's in engineering. When I look at deals, I always look at numbers, right?
Yes.
Um, so with that being said, like what is your threshold? Like what are you looking for? And then and particularly for your investors.
So, like, in terms of return or in terms of buying?
Mm-hmm. Returns, yeah.
Returns is always like 2x plus, is something we always try
Yeah.
for. Under 2 is personally unsatisfactory for me. So, I try to hit like at least 2x, close to that.
Mm-hmm.
Now, for the people that don't understand that, you're talking about the equity multiple, right?
Yes,
So can you
yes,
just
yes.
explain that for our general audience so that we're not like going over some people's heads?
Like in general terms, if you invest like 100,000 by the cycle, like the full cycle, when we exit, like you get 200,000.
Cool.
That's as simple as that.
Okay.
But again, like, you have to go through a lot of ups and downs to do that.
And what
So
what kind of time frame for that?
yeah.
So typically we try to do 3 to 5 years.
Okay.
Okay.
Lately we have been doing 3 years because the market is going very high and high. There's a lot of buyers out there that wants to pay more prices. So we used to do 5, but now we are doing 3.
Hmm.
So either we refinance or resell it, but like close to 3.
What drives you more, like an equity multiple number or a cash on cash or IRR? What are you looking for?
So like IRR and like the capital X would be the driver because
Okay.
that also attracts investors. Like if you give me 100,000 and if I'm giving you 200,000 back in 3 years, that's what it is
Mhm.
Yeah.
for a lot of investors. But again, like different investor, different demographics. So even like within my investor database, like like it's like buying a shirt. Like this type of shirt can be
That's a nice
like
shirt.
2,000 types of shirts, right? So I picked this one because it just I feel it right. But so just to give you an example of like there can be class B property, but somebody wants 80 like 1980s plus, somebody wants newer properties, somebody wants older properties, somebody wants 100 plus, somebody wants 100 under, somebody wants in sub market like tertiary market, somebody wants in city. So those type of things drives your so even though like everybody wants class B, but not everybody is looking for the same deal.
It's
Hmm.
good.
Yeah.
So
Really good.
the
And
metrics keeps changing.
and I know you mentioned earlier, I mean, like, I'm sure you've been bombarded with a lot of different groups, right? Like, you want to invest with us, like deals and stuff like that.
Yes.
So sometimes it's hard to choose. And I know your numbers, you look at numbers, but beside that, are there any other core values that you're looking for in a
So
team,
my
right?
personal experience so
Great
far is
question.
in Texas, so I know the Texas numbers, and
Okay.
lately it has been going up, but till I will still say it's true today is like if I want buying a class C property, I would buy it from 90,000 to 120 a door. If it is a class B property, I would do 100 to 140 max.
Sure. Mm-hmm.
And if it is a class A, then close to 200, depending upon where it is.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's my buying criteria for
Sure.
now. I don't buy anything under 80
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
for copper wiring it. Like I don't just like it, like aluminum
Yeah, but that's in
wiring.
Texas though, right? That's a Texas
Yes,
market.
Yeah.
yes. So
Yeah.
I have been talking to a lot of guys in Florida. Numbers are really high. For that reason, I don't like it personally. Like their average is way higher than us. Uh, but the rent is not much of a difference. They like they
Uh-huh.
may be charging $100 more or $200 more, but the door price is 40K more.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
And then how about
So
in team?
Yeah.
in team in
Like, how
general,
do
of
you choose
course,
a team?
uh, like somebody with the experience. Like
Mm-hmm.
just to give you an example of Danny. So Danny brings in a lot of value. He's always a KP on the deal. Uh, Experience. He knows a lot of
Yep.
guys. So connection, experience is something in the industry. Uh, Along with that, like capital raise is always bonus. But yeah, like once you like know a lot of people and have like at least so bottom line is like minimum 5 deals you have to do. That's what I look for if I'm like taking anybody in as a GP or
Is
minimum
that full
2 years.
cycle?
Yes,
Full cycle
full
deals?
cycle
Okay.
5 deals or to minimum 2 years of experience.
Okay.
That's minimum criteria I try to look for.
Sounds like you're going through resumes there.
Hmm.
some, some
But
some
I
stringent criteria there.
but I did for myself too when I was trying to be part of other people, like I did the same when that at that point I was the employee and they were the employer, right? But
Sure.
I did the same at some point.
That's
So it's
good.
nothing to feel bad about, but it's just like, if you have to, especially like, picking a team is like, it's like a sport you playing.
Yeah.
So you want to make sure you win at the same time. So you need to pick right players, who is a batter, who is a pitcher, who is a catcher, you know.
That's
So
good.
you need those people. If
Yeah,
somebody
we
drops a
we
catch, nobody likes it.
on a previous live session, we've likened ourselves to the '90s Bulls, and I mentioned that of course I was Michael Jordan, hands down.
Yes. Yeah.
So definitely understand the team reference
I'm
and
Bobby
the
Hands him,
sport
I guess.
Yeah.
exactly. So I'm curious, like Fred, you've got real estate experience, obviously, and you've been crushing it in that sector. How do you think the healthcare aspect of that has prepared? I'm curious to know if that kind of parallels with what VJ's been talking about.
Uh, I think healthcare for me was a starting point because it was steady income, higher than average employee. And I think VJ probably can attest to that as well, because people that make 300,000 a year have more disposable income, so they're able to invest part of their money that they make. So that prepares you better than average people, and that's how you can have a nest egg to be able to invest quick and get to the investment world quicker. And that's actually why I chose to go to healthcare, to go to dentistry, because I knew early on I can actually reach 100, 200,000 a year income quickly, and from then on I was able to diversify and do other stuff. Without that, it was very difficult for me with the W-2, and making 50, 60,000 a year to get to that point quick enough.
Yeah. Anything less than 100,000 with this economy, like it will be hard to pursue what you want to do, like because your salary will be not just good enough to pay your bills.
Exactly.
Yeah,
And I think that's why VJ was able to go to these. I mean, the people in healthcare are able to give you money to passively invest. They don't have time, but they have money to invest. So that's a good market to tap, and I think VJ has done that really well from what I'm hearing.
no, VJ, were those, if we can call them wells, the well investors that you got, were they in healthcare by chance?
Those two not, but yes, I do try to focus on that area for the same reason what he said. And I also realized that earlier on is like, uh, especially typically like, doctors or, dentists or somebody higher income people, they are busy with their jobs, but at the same time, they have a lot of dispersed income, like at least 50% of them, they will have, because they are making close to 200,000, they're spending 100,000, but they will always have 100 or 150,000 left for themselves that
That's good.
they don't have time to figure out. So they're gonna look for somebody for like that's where you come in. It's like someone that they know it. That's the number one criteria. Nobody's gonna like give you money if they don't know you, right? So they have to know you. Like once they know you, then yeah, they will be comfortable to give you their money.
So let's role play it a little bit. I am new to multifamily. I've already got an established team. I've decided that I wanted to become a capital raiser. What kind of steps would you recommend someone take to kind of fulfill whatever agreements they have? Let's just say they want to raise their first 500K. What would VJ recommend?
So if you want to raise 500K, uh, first look at your system. What are you doing? Like how are you approaching people? That is the sales pitch basically, right? Like if I'm like selling a pen or a toy, what is your sales pitch? How are you presenting yourself? How are you presenting your deal? Your process needs to be analyzed before you go out. That's what I would say. Like just to give you a different example is like if I'm a doctor and I show up in your door with a jeans which is ripped and a collarless t-shirt, how would you feel? I can be the best doctor in the world, but if I have a ripped jeans and a collarless t-shirt with printed on it, maybe offensive, right? I can be the best doctor in the world, but like, and I have seen that on first hand is like patients, the moment you walking on the door, patients are judging you
Yeah, I think that goes
before you,
with anything.
yeah, and like before you even talk to them, they have made their decision. So, like, talking to them is like the later part. They have already analyzed you, the way you are behaving, the way you have, bedside manners, the way you are talking to other guys. Based on that, they have already made their perception. So your profile will have to make a lot of difference. So like first thing is like work on the back end. Once your back end is solid, like one thing I would highly recommend is have a VA, because we do get busier. So if you have an assistant, like virtual assistant or assistant, I have both, but that's where you can pick up the pace. And personally, I really like to work with pace. I take my time to learn, but once I learn, I like to move with the speed. I
Yeah.
really like to move with the speed,
What
and
are you having your VA do when you say that? Can you break that down? Like, what is your VA reaching out to people on LinkedIn? Posing as VJ? Are
yeah.
they
No, but when I say backend, it's like email
sure?
marketing, text campaign, follow-ups, who is opening your email, all those, like the backend work. Like not necessarily they are like trying to be me. Sometimes they do. If like let's say yesterday was a crazy day, so there's a lot of text were handled by my VAs. Unless there was something specific that comes out, they will just of course, run it by me. But other than that, just a normal conversation is like, the discovery phase is always done by my VA.
That's good. So you mentioned if someone wanted to get started to raise 500K, some of the first initial steps would be to kind of analyze yourself. So if you've got some Facebook profile that's got you binge drinking, in your college days, you should probably delete that
It
picture.
like you won't believe, but it affects you.
Hmm.
Yeah,
It does affect you because people are going to check you out. It's not like, oh, you like what you are. No, like people will. So those are the things. Like if somebody doesn't tell you, then you will don't even notice it. That okay, I lose like 10 of the investor because of this.
because of that
So
one time
politics,
in Vegas.
yeah, politics is something that try to refrain from if you're in business. Everybody has their own opinion. Keep it to yourself, and everybody has a right to vote. So vote. That's what it is. But publicly, if you are in business, it can hurt you. So either way, just try to limit publicly if you can.
So you've cleaned up your profile, you're looking good, you've got the professional pictures. I mean, how are you reaching out to investors? We mentioned, kind of looking at the I guess
Yeah,
the
like
core
Facebook
avatar,
groups
like
in
healthcare
general, like
groups.
Facebook groups. Yeah, try to. So the first initial phase I did was join Facebook groups with the like-minded things. Find those groups, join those groups, and try to post relative content so people can start noticing you. Not necessarily it has to go. So like I've been like as I say, I've been watching all those gurus, right? So like all the criteria fits in the same is like if you try to be in front of a lot of people with general like so I post on cost segregation, or I post on depreciation, or I post on Arizona, like what's going on in Arizona, because there is a lot of downgrade market is happening in Arizona. So in general, what is happening in industry that you found out, or or you analyze, and you try to discuss that. So like right now there's a lot of debate. So I also have a personal Facebook group that I build it out. And what we were debating is like now, even at this point of industry, does it even make sense to buy existing cash flow? And you pay this ridiculous amount of time, like money, especially like 180K a door. Let's say like if you're buying a like 70s properties, you're paying 190K a door, and you charging $1,200 a rent. It's good for the cash flow, but again, like, does it make sense? Like, in a long-term portfolio, does it make sense? Where I can build a Class B property. So we are building a Class B property in DeSoto, Texas, 320 units, and my cost is going to be 150 a door.
Wow.
So like of course you have to convince your investors to do that, but return on investment will be the same. So minimum cycle any given day is like I have not seen anybody doing under 3 years. The least I have done a couple of guys is 22 months, but again that's like case by case basis. But 3 years is a typical cycle, is like you buy in, you do the value add for 2 years, and then 1 year is a rent bump, and then 3 years you start refinancing or you exit, right? So that's the typical market, and I would say 90% of the people will fall in that cycle. So on the development side, it's the same thing. Like you buy the land. There's a 1 year of land development, 1.5 year of construction, maybe two, but again, like when there's a construction, you can do on phases. So, there's one phase already built out in 6, 8 months. You start leasing out, you already have a cash flow. And so the deal that we worked out is like it's going to be 3 year period. Investors are going to get 6 to 8% return, but what we're going to do is end of third year we're going to match the third year, right? So end of third year I'm dispersing the return for 6 to 8% for that third year. Now I have 2 years to catch up, but now the I have a brand new property with the cash flow, and of course I can ask for more rents because it's a brand new property with the newer amenities and all the value add is done already. So there's a rent hike already. I'm charging premium. I'm getting $1,700, $1,500 uh, a door, right? So with that cash flow, I will be start returning for year one and year two. So in next 2 years, I would catch up with 1 and 2 years, so everybody is on the same ground. After that, it's like either you refinance it, and by the time the property is cash flowing, I would refinance it and match up everything. So by fourth year, the latest, or even the third year, I would say third year or fourth year, I would match up 6 to 8% year by year for 3 years. We refinance it, and then an investor can have their money back, or we move on to the next project.
Hmm.
That's great. Aaron, you look like you got something brewing. You wanted to ask him.
No, I'm just I'm taking all in some of these movements he's had. VJ, I would ask you this: like, do you kind of project you guys spending more time in the build, in the ground up, new build approaches
Yeah,
these next
yeah,
couple of years, or
yeah,
it seems like you've shifted in that direction?
yeah. And like if the market is doesn't slow down, then
Mhm.
uh, and even like in future, if you ask me, I would still see myself 50-50. Like I
Uh,
wouldn't shy away from cash flow, but I would do 50-50 because there
Nice.
will be always a back end project that will be under construction. I would do front end the cash flow deals, but on the back side, I would be always developing something.
Nice. Nice. Well, we are coming to the tail end of our show. We want to be mindful of everybody's time. So, VJ, if you had to tell our audience, just kind of going back to that role play, 5 simple steps or however many you can come up with to just raise the 500K or
So
get started.
yeah, like again, cleaning up yourself, making a profile, because you have to do again a role play, right? Like, and I did the same. What investor look for somebody like that can be invested, right? So just do your analysis. Number two is pick your expertise. You don't want to be good at everything, but you want to good at something. So
Mhm.
try to be always mindful of that. Number three is try to build connections. Like initially you will end up wasting a lot of time trying just to know people, like not necessarily they will invest on you or they will do like a lot of projects, but try to
Hey,
invest your
BJ, I think that's
initial
called
time.
speed dating.
Yes, yeah. Yes.
Sorry, I gotta say that.
No, that's fine. Like, and yes, the analogy is same. Like, and I always like to, explain like, and I'm sure like, in this 40 minutes, I have done a lot of analogy for myself too. So,
Yeah.
yeah, speed dating kind of thing, like just to know people and they know you. Okay, oh, no, there's this guy. So this will help you. Just to give you a 2 minutes is like, even though I'm doing a cash value deals on the front end, but people knows that I'm doing a development on the back end. So there's going to be always like out of 5 guys, 3 guys are doing a like investment on the cash value, but there's a 2 guys or 1 guy who's invested like interested to invest in the development side. Okay, hey, here's 100,000, but I'm ready to wait, but I like to have 3x return because if you do development, the returns are easily 3x or 2.5.
Wow. Wow. Okay. So we got two more steps.
Two more is like a email database. So try to create your
Okay.
database, phone numbers, emails, as many as you can, and then build a system out of it. So just to give you an example is high level. If you don't know the software, try to know the software, and if at least hire somebody who knows how to run the software because that software is amazing. Like it just automates a lot of stuff for you, email marketing, text marketing, follow
And when you
up.
say software, it's saying like Active Campaign or
Yeah,
what are you using?
like Go High Level is similar to Active Campaign, so they both are like brother and sister. So
Okay.
pick whatever you want. But yes, that software has helped me a lot to automate a lot of things. So it is a time saver.
And what's the name of the software again? Sorry, I missed that.
It's a
VJ.
Go High Level or Active Campaign.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Now,
both are similar. Like they same offer like integration that needed to be done, like appointment
Yeah.
scheduling, text
Absolutely.
follow up, emails, things like that.
all right. So pop quiz. Aaron, can you sum up those? Can you bring us home with those 5 points?
I had started. Do your analysis, pick your
Okay.
expertise, pick your partners, know the software, implement the systems, and make lots of money. Was that the last part, I think?
That was it.
All right.
Yeah.
We're done. See you guys later.
All right.
Sure. Thank you so much.
That was it. No, that's it. But yeah, thank you guys so much. We really appreciate everybody joining. It was an honor to have Fred here and VJ as well. Where can people find you, VJ?
So, my website is, the Future Group. So it's thefuturegp.com. That's my website. And there's a free ebook that I'm giving away that I written. It's about, like, of course, how you want to retire rich and, power of passive investing. So people can, opt in for that book. It's free. And, my LinkedIn profile is VJ Patel. So you might find like there is a profile that is my personal profile that I try to keep it away because that's for my friends and family. But I started with my personal profile and then I realized that okay, like it's just mixing up with personal and professional. So I don't want to share professional with my friends and family, and I don't want to share personal things with professional. So as I like just to give you an example of like my baby daughter, right? So those kind of things. So I'm keeping it separate. So I have two profiles just to like be out
Mm.
there, if you know. But yeah, other
Okay.
than that, like just let me know like if you have any comments, just PM me like on Facebook. A lot of times that's what I do. Like I get a lot of PMs from Facebook. I try to answer that, and then we go from there.
Awesome.
This is
Awesome.
outstanding.
Well, yeah, it's been another good one. Thanks for joining us. Hope everybody has a great rest of their day, and we'll see you next week.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
VJ, thank you so
Thank
All
much.
right.
you.
Yes.
Thank you, guys.
Bye.
Bye.